I should unplug my mic before we get started. Cool. And back to live. Let's see. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So today we're going to be doing a repair video, and I'm going to try and emphasize one of the things that actually got me excited about repairing into it in the first place. It is not necessarily for the love of making something work again. It's not getting excited because I've reballed a chip that has 96.25 millimeter balls under it while the customer's calling every 5 minutes to ask if it's done yet and complain about price. What makes it exciting is, sometimes for me, is not even the money aspect of it. It's just getting something back without having to wait for it. So today we're going to be going over an item called the Qudelix. So this is a Qudelix 5K, and what this is this is a headphone amplifier that also has Bluetooth. So you can, and it's also an audio interface. So you can plug this into a computer, and you can use the microphone built into it, and you can also use it as a headphone output. It has a 3.5 millimeter output and a smaller one if you have a device that doesn't have a headphone jack. It's pretty cool for smartphones because now headphone jacks don't exist on smartphones. So if you want to use wired headphones, like the ones I have in my pocket over here, you actually can't use these on most smartphones without some sort of fucking dongle. And a lot of those dongles admittedly suck. The audio quality is not great, they're not durable, and also, let's say you actually want to use these as wireless headphones. So one of the problems that I have with a lot of modern wireless headphones is that they are wireless Bluetooth buds. So let's say I walk up to somebody and I want to have a conversation with them. You could do that hear-through, pass-through shit, but it's annoying after you do gestures and hit buttons, and it can be annoying. But more importantly, it's not as real as just taking it out of my ear. Now, if I have a wired headphone that is wireless with Bluetooth, like they used to make back in 2015, 16, 17, I could just put it around my neck, or I could wrap the wire around my ear like this and continue the conversation. And when it's done, I do this. Time to have a conversation, do that. When you have wireless earbuds, I take it out of my ear, and now I gotta hold this shit. I gotta put it in my pocket and remember. It's very annoying. So the cool thing about this device is a wireless Bluetooth device that allows you to use any headphones of your choice, and the headphone amplifier in it is actually not bad. It is a Qudelix 5K, Qudelix. Now this one stopped working, and I want to be able to use it for a very specific reason. So I'm going to be on a 12 to 14 hour flight, and while I'm on this 12 to 14 hour flight, I'm going to be sitting next to somebody, and I want to be able to share what I'm watching on on my computer. My computer only has one headphone output. Now what I can do in Linux is I can use Carla audio routing to output to both the internal headphone jack and also this if I use it as a USB-C audio interface. I can actually output to both audio interfaces at the same time so we can both listen to whatever we want to listen to or whatever movie I want without having to pay the bullshit airline for their fuck-ass streaming service that half the time doesn't even work and has fucking ads in it and fuck all that shit. So the thing is, I need this to work by tomorrow. Now, I can't buy this locally. I can't buy devices like this locally. I actually can't even buy a fucking basic headphone splitter locally because nobody uses wired headphones anymore. And this is where repair becomes really exciting. And this is the thing that I love about it, is I want this to work before my flight tomorrow. The only way to make this work by my flight tomorrow is to fix it. So fixing stuff just to fix it, fixing stuff that I can afford to buy again, like whatever. Fixing stuff to save a bunch of money, that excites me when I'm poor. Or here, when I'm poor on time. I don't have the time to get another one. Now, I reached out to Qudelix to ask what was going on with this and like if there's anything they can do under warranty. Since I've purchased about 3 of this device, and I'm a very regular customer, I've actually gifted them to several people. And they said that in order to get any warranty service in this device that failed after a few months, I would have to send it back to them in South Korea. I bought this thing for like $70 or $80. And you want me to ship it to South Korea and then wait for it to come? Forget about the shipping cost both ways, probably costing half what the device costs. It's going to take me 3 to 6 months to get this thing back. So I figured we would try to fix it on stream. Now, the first thing that pissed me off about this device, the moment that I opened it, and why I would never recommend anybody buy anything from this company ever again, is I want to see if you notice this when I put it under the microscope. And let's see if my microscope camera works. This is my original microscope camera from 2013, and it has been being funky because it has been beat around and destroyed as I've taken it to so many different places over the past clusterfuck 13, 14 years of my life. So first things first, let's just get the auto exposure on it. I don't even remember how to use this thing anymore. I think the left button is auto exposure. There we go. Now let's see if you notice something about this particular device. I'm going to look. Also, I don't have time to set up a wireless microphone, so my apologies if the audio is in and out. The reason I always liked having a wireless microphone is so that the audio will be consistent as I move around, and you don't have that here, because I am trying to hurry up and do this so that I can do everything else I have to do today before I leave. Now, the first thing you notice is that there are screws to open it, but if you notice over here, they're fucking security screws. They're these are not screws that you're going to have a standard screwdriver for. So I actually spent 45 minutes looking all over the store to find this, and I think it was actually a guest who left the screwdriver here. I don't remember buying it because I've never needed this in the 18 years that I've had a professional repair company to repair consumer electronics. So they actually have a special fucking screw. So you see this thing sticking out in the middle of it? That's what's usually referred to as a security screw. So that's there as a fuck you, don't open this, we don't want you to open this. Now, that would not annoy me so much if you had a service center in the United States, or if your answer to somebody who has bought this thing 3 times, when they say it just stopped working, here's the details, is to send them a new one, okay, like maybe within warranty we'll charge you. Well, like when your answer is send this thing back to another country for half the price that it's going to fucking cost to replace it, and you've also locked me out of it, that's a giant dickhead move. Because the entire point of using this screw versus a Torx T3, T5, T6, a Penelope, any sort of screw of use is to make it more difficult to open by using a screwdriver that you're not going to find a bit to at your normal store. So right off the bat, Qudelix is saying fuck you to every one of their customers if you want to be able to service this, and you will have to service this because this is a wireless Bluetooth device. Since it is not just something you plug in via USB-C to have work as a sound card on your Android phone or your iPhone or your laptop, but it's also Bluetooth, it's wireless. The battery in this device will die. 100% of these devices will need to be opened up, and they have made it a little bit more difficult to actually do that part of the process, which I think is very shitty. And you have to understand the demographics of the people that are purchasing this. The demographic of the person purchasing this is usually going to be the type of person on average that cares about these type of things. Like again, if you're talking about an adapter to allow people to use wired headphones in 2026, on average, those people are going to be on the autistic end of the spectrum. Would you agree, Maria? Exactly. Anybody who's looking to use wired headphones in 2026, okay, I'm with you. I'm with all of you. But they're just not going to be the type of people that are like, yeah, in 1 year I expect us to throw this shit away. So that's fucking annoying. And I think that on average, the people on that side of the spectrum are immediately going to notice that as a fuck you. So I'm going to open this thing up. And before I do that, I wanted to show you what the actual, what the malfunction of this was. Let's see if I can make that easy on a phone. So one thing I note when I go to the Bluetooth menu on my tester phone, I'm not going to show you my real phone because I'm not doing that. I've learned my lesson with this before. Is on the list over here, there's no way to make this thing actually pair. So this is an old piece of shit that I brought just for this purpose. I don't actually use this thing. We're going to try to get it to pair. Hold down the button. Turn off autofocus. And, oh shit, that was on manual focus. Fuck. That whole time that was, yeah, whoops. There we go. Okay. Hold down the pair button. Nothing here. And I believe this is the old Pixel that I had graphene on back in 2023. That if you take a look at this, you'll see that this piece of shit does not show a Qudelix anywhere. Like it's just not there. Is this that or is this the LG V60? This is too small to be the LG V60. I forget which one this is. Anyway, point being, it doesn't light up and you don't see it on the Bluetooth list. So that's the problem that we're having with it. Oh wait, never mind. It wasn't. It was on auto focus. It was on auto camera, manual camera autofocus. Okay, my bad. Okay, yeah, I haven't done this in a while. All right. Anyway, so the problem with this is that with this phone, it doesn't show up on the Bluetooth page, and when I hold down the Bluetooth pairing button, nothing happens. And I've tried charging it several times, and I get nothing. So let's open this thing up and see if there's anything obvious about it. The first thing we got to do, while opening this up, is deal with the shitty company's screw that you're not supposed to open. Let's see if there's anything obvious inside of here. Now, if this works, I can watch something on the plane tomorrow with a lovely lady. And if not, we will live in the tyranny of watching two separate things. Or, even worse, left earbud for you, right earbud for me. Yeah. Fuck that. Okay, let's see if we can get this to work. So, first things first, after removing the screws, how the fuck do we open this thing? I have a bunch of things here. Now, when working in repair, it's very useful to have a bunch of pokey shit. So this is like a pokey thing. Like pokey shit. And you can see that my pokey shit is already kind of broken there, kind of busted looking. Yeah, it's pretty busted looking. Someone tell Lewis to check his YouTube chat. I did. It's just people say, did you pay the monthly subscription? Lefty, righty, just press play. Yeah, it's pretty, there's nothing really good in there at the moment, unfortunately. But I do read it from time to time. It's just nothing there right now. Anyway, so we're going to try to open this piece of shit. Now, I have one of the great luxuries in opening this device, in that this one belongs to me. So I don't have to care if I scratch it. I don't have to care if I break it. The only person who could be mad at me is me. And I'm already mad at me. Been mad at me for 37 years. Okay, so it's starting to split open. Now we can take a look on the inside and see what's going on. See if there's anything obvious. This is, let's get the circuit board camera looking a little nicer. Mic is quiet. Yeah, turn up your volume. I don't have time to be an audio engineer today. Okay, now what do you guys see over here? Looks like this customer got liquid damage. And this fuckface was going to send it back to Qudelix for warranty. What an asshole he is. Okay. Well, that gives us an idea of what happened to this. So I'm guessing that this is not liquid proof, and this was used outside. So let's clean up some of those sections. See if we even remember how to do that, honestly. I'm also going to take the circuit board out. And it may be smart to disconnect the battery before we do any work on it. Oh, modern shit, bro. The battery is soldered to the fucking board. Like, what the? And it's glued. Hard glued. See, now, if you soldered the battery to the board and glued everything together, but you made the thing liquid resistant, I would say fine, sure. You didn't make it liquid resistant and you soldered and glued everything together. Dickhole. Okay, let's see. What would be the first thing before... I don't want to desolder the battery just yet. I want to see if it's slightly able to remove it because I don't want the wire to move around and potentially touch something it shouldn't while I'm fucking with the battery. Now, the first question is, what do you think the chances are that I'm going to split the battery and that it's going to go on fire on stream? I should do this closer to Maria's desk. Maria, do you know how to separate these two? You want to try separating a lithium battery from a board? Anyway, I got it. That would have been fun, though. Okay. What do you think of the new Framework 16 laptop? You know, I haven't tried it. I have the Framework laptop, and this is an MSI Vector 16. I know they've been getting a lot of shit from people that I don't think they deserve for the RAM being soldered on the new machine. And I'm going to explain why that is in a moment. So like they've made decisions that I'm not the biggest fan of in the past, but like I didn't think that they don't strike me as the type of company that would go out of their way to purposely just solder shit to the board when they said that they were going to be a repairable company. And when I looked into it, I saw that it was an architecture where that the integrated GPU and the CPU, I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, but on the Framework desktop, the GPU integrated into the CPU can access system memory. So when you buy that device with 128 gigabytes of memory, you could actually load an AI model into that. And when you load the AI model into that, it'll work like it's running on a GPU. So and I've never heard anybody complain about soldered RAM on a GPU before. So I thought that was, and it actually seems like it's offered at a decent price. I mean, I think you can buy a B-Link computer and save like $400 or $500, but then you're really coming down to that whole like, do you want to support the type of companies that you want to see in the world more, kind of thing. Let's see if this heats up. So this may not be the right soldering iron for this, and by might, it really doesn't seem like it. I'm not impressed with the quality of the solder joints on this at all. Okay, so I'm going to detach the battery. We should remember where it goes. Just think, let's see, the bottom, okay, it says BAT plus over there. Got BAT minus over here. Yeah, micro pencil is not really the tool for this. Micro pencil ain't the tool for this. Okay, get off. Yeah, I'm gonna probably grab another iron at a moment. The first thing I'm gonna need is some genuine Amtech flux. Let's see if I have any of that. I don't even sell that stuff anymore. Oh, I haven't told you guys about the bullshit that Inventec did with their flux. Oh my god, they actually wanted me to be on their side while they were suing another company. I thought that was hysterical. Anyway, let me find some. All right, check out the expiration date on this flux. Let's see if you could find it. Expiration date February 27th, 2024. It's probably fine though. It's gonna be fine. It's not like you're drinking milk. So this is underfilled, so we're gonna want to be a little careful there. It's gonna reflow some of the nasty areas. So Amtech flux that I always used to talk about was NC559V2TF. And sometime a few years ago, many of you noted that the Amtech flux did not smell or look the way it did before. And I didn't notice this because I don't sniff flux. I'm not that type of dude. I think you should have a fume extractor. So I don't really smell it. But you guys do because you don't have a fume extractor and you like inhaling lead fumes or whatever the fuck else is there when you're soldering. So when they reached out to me and somebody else reached out to me to say, we are going to start selling the original formula. So apparently the company that made this flux, Inventec, they own the brand Amtech or something, and they changed it. So instead of NC559V2TF being genuine NC559V2TF, they started selling NC559ASM, which smells very different, as NC559V2TF. Now, since they own the trademark or the copyright or whatever, they own the trademark to Amtech Flux. They're allowed to sell whatever they want as that. They could sell R. Kelly's Piss as NC559V2TF, and it's legal. Now, the actual people that were making this, they started making the original formulation of NC559V2TF, and they called it Amtech Direct. But I don't think they own the trademark. And because they didn't own the trademark, Inventec tried to get them in legal trouble. And then there was some pushback from people saying, why are you trying to get in trouble the people that are actually selling the flux? And they were telling me, well, we own the trademark, and because we own the trademark, we're allowed to. Why do people think that we're bad people? Can you help us with this, Lewis, because you sell our stuff? And I told them, actually, no, I can't help you with this. It's one of these things where you're 100% right and you're 100% fired at the same time. So you own the trademark to this flux, but you use the fact that you own the trademark to sell something different under the same fucking name. If I try to defend you, I'm not going to help your reputation. I'm going to destroy mine. Do you understand? I don't think you understand how this whole thing works. YouTube people are not. We can't hypnotize people. It doesn't work like that. So I think the people that were selling Amtech Direct went out of business, and I advised the people at Inventec, I think you guys should sell the original formulation of NC559V2TF. I think you should sell the original one with the original smell. I think you should apologize to people for changing the formulation without telling them, because when I buy this, I expect it to be the same thing. I don't give a shit about the trademark or what you have the right to do. I care about what you should do. And I stopped selling their stuff altogether. So that's why we don't sell it. I don't really know what's gone on over the past few years, but I stopped using their flux over that because it was a very aggravating experience. Like, you can't just, it's the one thing to change the name of something. I thought it was very interesting and ballsy that you actually think I have the ability to just brainwash people into being okay buying something after you've done a switcheroo on them. Perhaps I should have taken it as a compliment to their confidence in my brainwashing capabilities. I didn't see it that way at all. Okay. So, it's just going to be like filing the nails here. I'm going to find some areas that are a little nasty. And it's going to just be like filing nails. We're going to make this a happy little board again. It's going to be a happy little Qudelix. And then on the plane tomorrow, I will be able to watch TV, watch some television shows, some movies, some other stuff, with 2 sets of headphones and the same computer. And to do so, I will not have to give my garbage airline a fucking dime. It's gonna... What microscope model? This is an old Amano. I don't even remember anymore, I'll be honest with you. I bought this microscope in 2014 to get a camera with it when I started doing YouTube videos. I literally don't even remember the model of this. I bought this thing a lifetime ago. I still had hair when I bought this fucking microscope. I lived in New York when I bought this microscope. The world hadn't gone to shit when I bought this microscope. Doritos were not $7 when I bought this microscope. Pedophiles in government would get prosecuted when I bought this microscope. Like, yo. Cars did not have subscriptions to heated seats when I bought this microscope. Spying on people required a warrant when I bought this microscope. AI that spied on you everywhere that you went and pulled you over, even if somebody else had a warrant with a similar license plate to you, did not happen when I bought this microscope. People believed Elon Musk was Tony Stark when I bought this microscope. All right. We're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Am I allowed to do this the old-fashioned way? This flux expired 2 years ago, so because it expired a while ago, we may need a little bit more. Let's do this. There we go. That's something I'm a little bit more comfortable with. All right. Can you guys see the board better? I can see the board better now. By the way, I don't even know if my website has flux on it. I haven't paid attention because that site is totally dead. We don't sell. The tariffs like completely destroyed my supply company's business. At least the way like I could do it viably. It made it not worth it for me anymore. But if you do buy flux from store.rossmangroup.com, do be aware that the expiration date is 2024 on our newest flux that I will be selling you. It's funny because I showed Chris when I walked out there the tube of flux that I was using. You couldn't hear him because I didn't take a wireless microphone today. I'm using the wired one, because that's the only way that I can even have the time to do this. And he said, I showed him the spool, and he looked me in the eye and said, oh yeah, I'm using the same one. This man is recovering SD cards that were cracked in half for the police. He's recovering like all helium drives with 20 and 30 heads in a fucking single drive, and he's using the same flux as me that expired in 2024. That is the... I respect Chris as a technician greatly. He has this really just cool old world Polish mentality of not just hard work, but like make shit work with what you have. You make things work with what you have. He went to this event called Tech Week, which is where a lot of the PC3000 kind of data recovery people go, and he did an interview. I'm going to be posting it to the channel when I find the time for it. And like he met some others there, and there was one part in the interview where he's like, yeah, of course, Polish are the best people here. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I can't argue with you. They know how to make shit work, man. A lot of people from that part of Europe, they just know, like, they know how to make shit work. They know how to make things work. Like, that's what they do. They just live, breathe, eat, and shit. Taking things that would cost a fuck ton of money to fix in their particular area because of economic issues and just getting it to work. And I have so much respect for them. More respect than I have for myself trying to get this damn soldering iron in there right now. I'm not actually making great contact with those pins. However, since those pins were not the corroded ones anyway, I don't really care. And you may think again, well, if I don't need to do those ones, then why am I even wasting time on them to begin with? And that's a great question to ask. Another great question to ask is why don't you bring over the other soldering iron that actually has the ability to melt shit on this board? Because clearly this one does not. And that is a great question. I would have to find another one. I don't think I have it. Alright. Use what's available to you and make it work. Indeed, it is a mentality. Alright. Always fun to try and keep a steady hand working on small stuff. Now, the flux has clearly burned itself away on the solder that's on the iron. That's junk. But the reason I'm not worried about that or don't care is because I have flux on the board. And this flux lasts a long time. I mean, the fact that it's even lasted 2 years after the expiry date is pretty cool to me. Okay, let's get the other side of that resistor. I'm just going to file it like I'm filing my nails. Like I'm filing my nails with my Revlon nail filer. Having a happy day before a happy flight. On a happy airline that's totally not going to fuck me and try to get me to take a different flight. And then try to offer me like $50 after they fuck me out of my flight. They're definitely not going to do that. American companies wouldn't try to fuck me when I fly. Just because it happened the last time, and the time before the last time, and the time before the last time before the last time. Okay, see that over there? That's when you know that you haven't soldered something properly. So this little thing that's sticking up over here, where it looks like a Hershey's Kiss, that means that your flux has melted away, which means I have not put enough flux on this particular board, obviously. Here we go. Never mind. Some of it got on the table. We're just going to put it back where it belongs, on the fucking board. Am I right? Fancy. Fancy flux. Okay. Now the other reason as to why it is that is not making a nice even joint, has a little Hershey's Kissness on it, is because this iron just fundamentally can't heat up that part of the board, which is either a power plane or a ground plane, because it's too small. But if I get the other iron, it might just be too big. And too big, too small, these are all problems. But let's see. There's no corrosion around anything on this chip, so I don't think I have to worry there. Now I'm going to flip this thing over. We're going to flip it over. We're going to turn this into a happy little Qudelix board again. Once it's a happy little Qudelix, it's going to work, it's going to pair, it's going to play some music through any headphones you want. Until the battery dies, because it's disposable shit. But until then, this area looks like it could just use some generalized reflow. Generalized reflow. I like your tip. Why, thank you. How many other people in the stream like my tip? Anybody likes? Who else? Who else do we have that likes? Oh. And is not shy enough to say it out loud. I need to get something to hold the board down. I don't actually have anything. I don't really have repair tools at my desk because it's not my job anymore. Hold this board down. Just file the nail over here. Is there a resistor hiding under that, or is that just my... I can't tell if there's a resistor next to that little piece. Hard to actually tell, honestly. Not quite sure. Ooh, you see this over here? This is where the battery was in the board. Now, what I find interesting about the quality of this particular board, take a look at this. So I used... oh, man. I wish there was a way for you to feel something through the screen. This tool can't scrape the board. Watch. Look at this. I can't scrape this board if I try. I'm literally trying as hard as I can. Here is a tip. Thank you for the 50 secs. Look, I can't scrape this board if I tried. This over here, those three things that were scraped, those are under the battery. That shit had to be done. And I never opened this until today. So that just came like that from the factory. Oh, thank you, Qudelix. Apparently you weren't keeping me from opening the device to protect the device from me. You were trying to protect me from seeing the shitty manufacturing of this device. Wow, that is some lazy shit right there. I might just put some conformal coating on that if there's time, and I can find my UV curing pen at the store. Wow, seeing that just... yeah. Oh, man. Battery rubbed through. Yeah, that's... I want those traces. This random just piece of plane, I'm not going to do anything with that. Bro, I haven't been this disappointed since working on Apple products. I'm kind of curious if since the new CEO is supposed to be a hardware engineer, if that means that... Do you think there's a point in actually reaching out to him? Like, what do you think it would be if I said, no, let's let bygones be bygones. You guys obviously have a different approach to things now. The M1 and the M2 and the M3 and the M4, they're just so much better than everything else in the space. Like back in the day, Apple stuff, you really, in my opinion, you were paying a tax to get access to really good software that only officially ran in their machines. But you would get this machine that toasts itself and cooks itself, and you paid more money for the same hardware. Now, like for a lot of different segments, when you buy an Apple device, you may, like the price to performance ratio, the price to performance to energy efficiency to battery ratio is actually pretty fucking astounding. Like, it's pretty good. Even if I don't like the repair practices, I don't like how they I don't like how they treat customers in some ways. Like, it's different. So I'm kind of curious with the amount of stuff that's changed. If would it? Do you think I could actually have a chance of speaking to somebody there and saying, here's how much here's how much more your product could be revered, and here's how little you'd be screwing yourself if you just made shit like schematics available publicly anyway. Like, as a new boss, let me just get a proper iron, because this thing is just way too small for that. One sec. Here we go. Bigger tip. Anyway, so back to what I was saying before. Founders of Anthropic... Oh, what did somebody say here in chat? Founders of Anthropic were neuro, comp sci people, one person in business, IRC, who ran away from crap OpenAI did, and look what you got now. Yeah, it didn't take long. A few months, if not less. What Mike do using YouTube videos? At home, I use a blue Blueberry that I got on eBay, broken for a few $100, and this is an AE5400. The AE5400 uses the same capsule, to my knowledge, as the Audio-Technica 4050. The AE5400 is cheaper because it's made to be handheld and it only has one polar pattern. But 99% of the world, the people using this, are only using it for one polar pattern. And also, the AT4050, which has the same capsule as, also sounds very similar to the AKG C414, which is a microphone that costs over $1,000. So you're really getting a good value with this. Especially if you buy it used on eBay. If you buy it used, you're spending $200 to get a microphone that, if you use it properly, can really sound like a $1,000 microphone. So I like that very much. I use that at the store. And then I use the blue Blueberry at home. I used to use the 4050. It broke. I got it fixed, and then I just never plugged it back in again because I didn't really... Yeah, the ones I had were good enough. And it requires a shock mount that, when I look at the price of the shock mount online, makes me want to cry. And I don't want to buy a knockoff one because, while knockoffs of things used to be good a while ago, pretty much everything you find on like Amazon stores and stuff like that is not normal knockoff. It's like hyper knockoff, where nothing fits in it. You're lucky if you open the box, the shit doesn't break as you're taking it out. Like the litter box, it's different now. Like the litter box literally fucking decapitates your cat. I'm not kidding, that happened. I went over that in a video 2 years ago. So I've been putting off getting a new shock mount for the AT4050 that I have, even though I need one, because I literally don't. Like, I'm at this point, I'm fucking traumatized at the idea of buying an aftermarket of anything. And I'm usually a type of person that really likes buying aftermarket stuff, because aftermarket stuff is a great way to save money. But you know what I'm talking? You know all those brands on Amazon where it's like the name of the company is just a bunch of letters, and that's it. Like, it's literally just a bunch of letters. Anyway, what I was saying before. So, do you think it's worth it now that Apple has a new CEO to just show, like, reach out and let's let bygones be bygones. Let's start from scratch. You know, you may have not always had a say in how things are done. I've learned a lot over the past 5 or 10 years of trying to do this right to repair activism stuff professionally. Are you open to sitting down and having a real conversation about how to make things better for repair people while not really losing anything on your side? Because I don't think that the people that show up here are the type of people that would have paid $1,500 to $2,000 just to get it fixed there anyway. I think they'd remember the good experience and it'd be good for the brand. I mean, we've existed for the past 15 years, and you're worth what, like 3 trillion, 4 trillion, 20 trillion? I literally lost count at this point. So, are you open to starting from scratch? And let's talk. Let's have a real conversation about why things are the way they are. The schematics always get released on websites like Venafix and these random, the forums where people trades them all the time, and it's not like somebody's come out with a fucking M4 Max. It's not like somebody's selling a laptop that has as good a screen, as good a processor, as good battery life at the price that you are. It's not like the schematic existing has led to you guys getting destroyed. You're not getting blamed when things go on fire, if anything does go on fire. Like, can we just accept that we've been saying and doing the same things just because that's what we've been, like, what we've been doing for the past 10 or 15 years, and just try something new and see if we can do something that actually works. And if it doesn't work for a real reason, that's fine. But as long as we're not saying that magtrometers and microwaves will explode or shit like that anymore, because that's just... Sometimes I think about that. Ironically, I think about it now that we're literally not even really an Apple repair company anymore. We're a data recovery company. I'm not sure if these two things are supposed to be together. I'm 99% sure they are, and if they are, me caring this much OCD about there being a solder bridge there is stupid. But the OCD gets me, and I want to... Sometimes I think about reaching back out. Because one of the things I've said is that I don't say that Apple's the only company that was really against repair. It's just that every major company tends to copy what it is they do because of their level of popularity. But if they showed that you could, bro, stop. It's like this fucking noise that gets made every time like a pigeon flies by my house. I get it. I get it. Frigate, I get it. You think that there's somebody there. It's not a bird. Frigate always thinks that there's a shadow in front of my house. It's a bird, and it's like that's not a bird. That's not a bird. You can stop that shit. There's an inertia to things, and I think at some point people just make the decisions they make, and they make the assumptions they make based on things having always been that way. I want to figure out how do you reset that. It would be awkward to have that conversation at this point because we're mostly a data recovery company. I've just given up on the idea of doing many Apple product repairs at a economically viable way. I'm really looking to do something different now. Be nice to take on the Drive Savers, the Nolan Tracks, the Secure Data, all those people. Because I think that there's a big opportunity to be made when dealing with the over-marketed data recovery companies that fuck everybody over based on old reputation that doesn't really based on how the value proposition offered in 2026 anymore. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. It's not perfect, but one of the great things about this is this does not belong to somebody else. It belongs to me. The only person who has to deal with the jank is me. The quality of the repairs that I do for others is way better than the quality I do for myself. I think that's a sign of something, maybe psychologically. I gotta treat myself better. Like, see myself as somebody that's worth getting treated better, perhaps. I don't know. A lot of people that I know are repair people are like that, though. Like, their own house is a clusterfuck because they have no patience for it. They care about their customers' homes being good. They care about their customers' cars being in tip-top shape, but their own car is just garbage. Like, their own tools they have it for their stuff. It's just not put together. Okay, come on. I think I just forgot how to solder, honestly. Yeah, I legit just forgot how to do this. It's been so long, so far out of practice. Very far out of practice. Get that bridge off of there. Does light turn on any higher? Oh, it does. Cool. Nice. Does this light have HDR? Oh, the HDR is on a lot. That's probably what's making it look that way. Yeah, let me turn off that HDR. I'll turn only one HDR. Aha. Okay, a little bit of reflow. I don't have a mat on this. Let me get a mat. Found one. Alright, so this mat doesn't want to stay on the table. I don't have a way to keep it on the table because I didn't set this up. Yeah, I didn't think this through when I set this table up. Okay. Let's do a little hot air. I'm not going to have this set to MacBook level of heat though. That's really not necessary. You know what? I'm going to put the mat under the microscope stuff. Here we go. Okay, that's uneven, but I'll live with it being uneven so that stuff doesn't fly off my table. And I can reset this table up later on to maybe do some repair videos again. You're never going to see me fixing MacBooks on here again. I have far too much stuff to do in other areas of my life. That part of my life is over. But I think it will be fun to have a part of the channel that's just me working on random shit that is of interest to me. When it is of interest to me. Because it has to be of interest. It can't be something that I can't do videos about shit I'm not really excited about. But I'm always excited to do videos about things that have a story. The last thing I think I had on here that had the story was the sex toy that wanted to be a subscription. Well, did I just touch the chip on the board while I'm heating it? Oh, never mind. This is preheat. This is preheat. This is not heat. If this was heat, that would have been really stupid. You don't touch a fucking component while you're melting solder. Okay, I have the iron pretty far away, so I'm just still in the preheat stage. Now this chip is underfilled, so we're not going to be reflowing that. I see underfill over here, but I don't see it over here. Like, do you guys see how there's a hilly stuff over there, but you don't really see it on the side? There's nothing about this board that really impresses me, honestly. I think the construction of this thing is rather shit. Ooh, that's a button. I need that. Oh shit. Okay. So. Be right back after this commercial break to get a set of tweezers. Frost and repair group and rejuvenating flux baths. That's one way to put it. Rejuvenating is one way to put it. Now to put back on the thing that I took off. Whoops. Sorry. Hand is not as steady as it used to be. This is why Chris fixes stuff here and not me. Chris and Dan are excellent technicians. Oh. Okay. That is a disgusting little blob of solder. Let's waste some more expired flux. Every time that happens, I have another excuse to waste some expired flux. Can't waste what's already wasted though, right? I'm also 99% certain the iron I'm using is using a tip. Everything I grabbed from the section of the store that is where people put stuff that needs to be inspected or returned or fixed. So like the tweezers that I have are bent. The hot air station that I have doesn't heat up at the right size. I think I grabbed everything from the broken section on top of being completely out of practice. Yeah, that wasn't smart. Use this to hold down the board. Oh. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, there's a giant... Oh, that's through hole. That's why this is doing that. Wait, this tweezer is not... What is this tweezer? What the fuck is this? This looks like a fucking grade A under A comic. Why, bro? Oh my god. This looks like a grade A under A comic. What the fuck are these tweezers? What am I doing? Those are not tweezers. That is literal garbage. Okay, let's lower the temperature a little so we don't seem bad to the plastic. I haven't watched a grade A under A video since I think 2019. It's been like 6 or 7 years since I watched that stuff. That was a fun time on YouTube. Oh, for fuck's sake. I think I'm being too gentle out of fear of melting the plastic. Yeah, I'm being way too gentle out of fear of melting the plastic. First, I think I have too much solder on there to begin with. If this is through hole as well, I didn't think through if that was through hole. No pun intended. Didn't actually look to see if that was through hole. That's why you shouldn't have blown it off to begin with. If in doubt, don't blow. Alright. If in doubt, don't blow. You bastard. Paul, at this point, would say that he needs a device of mass gravity. There's a Hacko device. There's a beautiful Hacko device that will grab things. And he always used to refer to it as a device of much gravity. That he would use to grab a board that doesn't want to sit still because the board was too light to sit on the desk like a MacBook one would. And that device of mass gravity would be very useful here. Because the board just wants to move. Yeah, the board is dancing right now. Okay, I'm going to try and find a device of mass gravity. Let's find a device of mass gravity. The gravitational device is here. And my light just fell. Damn, too much gravity. Okay, we apply the gravitational device. Excellent. Now, once gravity has been applied, grackle tweezers. Why, hello. Everybody say hello to Lilia's art group. She is the woman for whom this device is supposed to be for tomorrow. Or alternate. This way, we can watch something on the plane together. Say hello in the chat to Lilia's art group. World's best girlfriend. The one person who could get me to want to solder again. Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you seriously not even... Bruh. Don't do this to me. Come on. Yoink. Yeah, there wasn't even any solder on that pad anymore. It's weird because it's the bottom one that I detached, but the top one looks like the buttons were attached so shittily. Keep in mind, I have not used wick throughout this entire experience. There's been no solder wick used in this process. So I didn't wick that. That just fucking came off. Oh, that's so lame. This thing is... I have to keep my expectations reasonable. It's 2026, Lewis. It's 2026. You can't have it all, man. Lilia says, should I get Lewis a birthday cake or actually good tweezers? She says, hello. I need a lot of good tools in this damn place. This business has been neglected for a few years, and it's 100% my fault. And I'm gonna be trying to put things back in order for the last hurrah, turning this into a successful data recovery company. It doesn't rip people off, doesn't fuck them over, doesn't lie about what's wrong with the product, or just obscure what's wrong with the product, because you didn't ask. I look forward to seeing where that goes. I would like to recreate the data recovery industry into a place where the Tim Homers that does their data recovery, and Mr. Irvine, Brian Kameda's, the $300 data recovery, HD recovery services, all those people. Like, shout out to the real ones. Shout out to the ones that actually give a shit about their customers and doing right by people. Kind of excited. Like, by the end of this year, I'd like to see what happens with a revitalized effort on things that I had failed at earlier. Hello, Mr. Rhine Labs. How are you doing? Everybody, Rhine Labs is a big reason that Right to Repair even had a chance in Washington going anywhere. That man is a one-man army, showing up, testifying everything, going against every single company that goes against repair. His channel has barely any viewership. There's literally no viewership on that man's channel, and I think that needs to change. If you're subscribed to this channel and you like the repair content that I used to do, I would highly suggest that you check out Mr. Stephen Ryan. He's an honorable man, and he does good things. He's worth checking out. He's got some interesting equipment reviews. And if you're a company that's being reached out to by Stephen Ryan, please realize the sheer amount of negative publicity that you get when you say that you are going to sue him and I come after you for it is really not worth the money that you perceive that you lost. And the reason I say perceive is because when he does a good product review of something that he bought on eBay, you didn't lose money. He may have not bought a new product, but what you don't understand is that when you help that man fix it, someday, he may not have tons of subscribers now, but someday there will be millions of people watching Mr. Stephen Ryan that will listen to his recommendations and buy your stuff. Stop being such a short-term thinker, man. You can make money and be a capitalist. And that's something that I really think is getting lost in the younger generation, and I don't even necessarily blame them, because there's not a lot of good fucking examples of people being capitalists and not being pieces of shit. But it is possible to be a capitalist without being a piece of shit. Try it. It may actually... Paul Daniels is my favorite cam girl. Oh shit, my microscope camera died. So this old microscope camera that I have every now and then just stops working, and I haven't figured... That's another thing I have to fix. Many things that need to get fixed. This is Yeah, it did die indeed, and I don't really have a fix for it. Sometimes it does that, and I just keep turning it on and off again, and eventually it works. But a lot of the times it doesn't. And I don't really have a fix for that right now. I actually don't have time to fix it because I gotta fucking go. So I'm going to ultrasonic this. Oh, there we go. It's back. I'm going to ultrasonic this thing. Put it back together. Solder the battery back onto the device once it's clean. And we're going to see if we get any difference in the results, or if I just spend a bunch of time talking into a microphone over a dead device. Now you're not going to be able to hear me when I walk over to the ultrasonic cleaner because I don't have a wireless microphone. But that's not the end of the world. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. Or you can be like you can enjoy a moment of silence. Okay. The solder joint looking a little shitty over there from a headphone jack. We can make that better. The board is completely filled with flux right now, so I think we can do a little better there. once this is done, there are a bunch of things I'll be able to watch tomorrow. The beautiful girl. Without paying the airline. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about fixing a device to save money. It's not about saving the environment. It's not about whether or not you have rights. Sometimes at the end of the day, it's just about not paying the fucking airline. Sometimes I just don't feel like paying the airline for the in-flight entertainment. I just like being able to say that I have the money to give you. I could give you money, but I'm not. Because you guys have been assholes to me every time I've used the fucking airline for the last 10 years, including this one. Uh-oh. I really need some wick. I think I accidentally touched a timing crystal there. Not good to... You really shouldn't solder the crystals. That's pretty fucking stupid. But I'd be surprised if this thing works, honestly. I've taken way too many liberties with the fact that this does not belong to me. It belongs to somebody else, but it belongs to me. To treat it in a manner that I would not treat this if this actually belonged to a paying customer. Anyway, let's... A bit of touch-up before the ultrasonic. Whew. Now, I have my ultrasonic, it does have a heater on it. It does heat the water. But I also like for the actual flux to be warm because it's more likely to come off in the water that way. It's warm. So I'm not heating it while the iron is closed. I have the same temperature that I would use to be melting solder, but the reason that it's not actually going to be melting solder much is because it's further away. So I set my temperature with distance just as much as I set my temperature with the actual setting of the temperature in the iron. All right. While I'm here, I might as well just... I think I can put those two apart. Can I? I'm 99% certain that those are the same thing on both ends. Well... The OCD will not set you free, Lewis. To stop. Okay. I have a video from 2013 on perfectionism and why it fucks you over, and look at what I'm doing. Instead of packing my shit for my trip. There's a cool Swiss magazine I'm going to be doing a podcast with while I'm there. I'm pretty happy. I want to talk about ownership, a bunch of stuff. I'm thinking of doing a national tour. I really wanted to be able to be there for the Stop Killing Games thing last month. I'm really pissed that I wasn't able to make it. There's a lot of stuff that I had to fix with my company, a lot of stuff I had to get sorted here. Hiring a new lobbying consultant. Not con and insult, I mean like people that actually help you. But hired a new person there. There's just some stuff I wanted to get together before I could really start traveling again. But I'm going to take this into the other room. And we are going to ultrasonic it. I'll bring it back here, put it back together, and see if we have any different results. Wish it luck. Okay, so that is ultrasonicing out there. I figured while that's going, I don't have the thing that shows the multimeter on screen. There's a USB dongle that is buried under probably 3 years of garbage that I'm going to have to go through later on. So what I want to do is I'm just going to show it to you the old-fashioned. I can't even show it to you the old-fashioned way because this multimeter is missing the back. If anybody knows where I can get a back, the leaning thingy, the thing that completes the V, the upside-down V, the stand for a B&K 390A, highly appreciated because I would like to start using this more for streams of random things that we're going to be fixing on the channel from time to time. So for now, let's do this. Can you read this? Tell me if you can read this shit. Tell me if you can read it. Oh my, I almost didn't plug it into the right. Well, I'm not an auto range type of person. That's not really. Fuck. Print one? I don't have a 3D printer here. You know, 3D printing is a rabbit hole I haven't gone down. I should. If you go to wiki.fudo.org, you will see a way to self-host essentially every single service that Microsoft, Apple, Google, and Amazon, and in addition, like companies like Unitel or phone companies offer you in your life. But I haven't really gone down the rabbit hole of 3D printing. I don't have an excuse. There's just always something else to do. I really feel ashamed that I have not gone down the 3D printing rabbit hole because it seems like it would be a really fun hobby. Okay, so according to this battery is 0 volts, which I don't necessarily believe. That doesn't seem credible. Maybe my multimeter probes suck. We have something there. 0.05. 0.06. So the question at this point is, can I get this thing to charge at all? So let's see. This is a 3.8 volt battery. It is 500 milliamp hours, 1.9 watt hour. Limited charge voltage, 4.35 volts. So let's say I were to plug it into the power supply and just try to charge it manually a little bit because that's highly depleted, and I'm surprised if this thing may just be completely fucked and beyond any sort of use. So I'm going to set the voltage on this power. This power supply is actually powering my microscope camera, which it will not anymore because I can't find a 5 volt DC power supply anywhere in this fucking store. I looked. I spent 20 minutes looking. There's not a single 5 volt. I found 5 volts AC. Who the fuck uses 5 volts AC? I saw 24 volts AC, 12 volts AC, 12 volts DC, 9 volts DC, 14 volts AC, and none of that DC. So I'm going to current limit this to... Let's current limit this to 0.1. I'm not going to have output on yet. Oh shit, this is funny. This power supply I picked up off the floor is a broken output button. It gets stuck. Yeah, that's never going to be a problem. Nothing wrong plugging a battery into a power supply where the output button is stuck. Let's see. I think it may just be that this is not a good harness. This may just not be making contact. These may be very shitty banana plugs. Let's see. One way to find out. Does it spark? Never mind. They make contact. That was copium. I think this cell is just dead. That is dead as a dodo. Yeah. Well, I would have to find a battery of a similar size to fit in there, wouldn't I? Yeah, I would. That battery is shredded. It is taking 0 amps. 0.01. wonder if the wire is soldered to the battery. How far down this rabbit hole do we want to go? Let me get this PC board drying before I go further down this rabbit hole. Okay, a break for a panini while I wait for that board to dry off and I think over what I'm going to do about this damn battery. So a battery that's taking 0 amps and also reports 0 volts, that's not punctured, that doesn't fit. I know that it's a lithium ion battery that was in a device that had some liquid, but that's something not right there. There's a wire that's not making, I don't know, that's kind of a little too much for me. I don't believe that is the actual failure mode here. I think we're going to find something when I take a look at that battery. What do you all think is going to happen? Hey, don't call that thing low quality. Low quality construction, good quality audio. I have to be accurate here. What do you think the issue is going to be with that lithium ion battery cell that's inside the Qudelix 5K? Whether or not it has battery bypass, it wasn't showing up as a USB-C audio interface before either. So even if the battery's dead and I can use this as a USB-C sound card, for my use of being able to watch movies on a plane, this would fit. Because I want to be able to connect 2 headphones to this laptop. I remember that Outseeker. Those are fun days. I bought me a Qudelix and I lost it the first day. It's better to have loved and lost than have loved long enough to figure out that the thing you loved was a piece of shit. True for your Bluetooth, USB-C adapters, and marriages. True story. Even worse, bad solder joints. You can probably find a lithium cell in a vape to throw on the street. Maria, do you vape?
Do I vape?
Yeah.
I do vape.
Do you have an old one? And if so, can I take the battery from it? I'll pay you. Steffi, do you vape?
I don't have a vape with me right now.
Where do people on the street throw them? I want to see if I can find a 3.7 volt battery that would fit.
You could probably get one. There's probably a smoke shop around.
Hmm.
They probably buy them nearby. He wants to buy them. Steve vape?
Hmm. Ryan Lab says I now have to take the county clerk to court, so they will transmit my King Electrical appeal to Superior Court. Yep. I'm not going to use the P word. I shouldn't say you're petty because it's not petty when you're right. But man, I'm happy people like you exist. Keep going with it. Tomato basil soup with a mediocre panini, produced by Cisco. Oh, okay. Actually, this is not bad. I shouldn't say that. This bread is way better than I was expecting it to be. Somebody up there mentioned MP3 players. There has not been a real digital audio player, and I call it digital audio player because even back in 2004, you could find things that played back Vorbis and FLAC and better shit because MP3 is garbage. There has not been a true MP3 player or digital audio player since the days of the Rio Karma. The form factor, the ability to skip through a song in real time, like there's no interruptions while you're scrubbing with a scroll wheel, a physical scroll wheel. That was amazing.
You actually know vape?
Now I know the pattern. You've only got me a good lunch if you've eaten half of it. I can trust that you actually like this food because you ate half of it.
Now he knows it's good. It's because it's not healthy. That's why it's good.
Wait. I want to look at it again.
It's Positano, yeah. It was a, what do you call it? Focaccia sandwich with pesto and tomato sauce. From Positano.
Okay, time to poke around this battery a little bit. Now remind me to not plug this. I'm actually using the same power supply to test this as I am to power my microscope. My microscope requires 5 volts because I don't have 5 volts anywhere in my fucking store. So I have to unplug these things that I was using to plug into the battery and never plug those in again because the battery is probably going to be very mad if I give the battery 5 volts instead of 3.7 or 4.2. Let's take a look at the battery a little bit and see if this is something that can be salvaged before our flight. The shitty set of tweezers. Let's also see if my camera will turn on. This is an Optics Cam NH1080. This camera was, I think, $800 or $900 when I first got it. It sold it at premium, and it was worth it. I really should make the time to fix it. There's probably better cameras than this at this point in time, with all sorts of technology that I'm not aware of as an old boomer. But man, I love this thing when this came out. This is so much higher quality than everything else. Okay, are you no? Maria, do you happen to have any sand? Like sand? Yeah. Yeah. When you're opening a lithium battery, sand is what you throw it into if it blows up, because that's the only, you can't put out lithium fires with water. Cookie crumbs are very close to sand. And this is the video where I'm asking if the Apple CEO will be open to having a real conversation. Like, I finally decided to do that right after the seriousness goes in the shitter. But let's open this lithium battery and see what we have on the inside. Are these wires even making contact? Are they? I refuse to believe that this cell is zero. That's just not happening. There's no way the cell is actually zero, like a straight up zero. 0 volts, intake 0. It's just too new, and there was too little damage done to this damn thing. I don't believe it. What do you all think? Let me scroll down so I can see your comments. What I am using? I have Shure SE425 because they fit better than everything else. And then I have this set of timeless 7 hertz that sounds better in theory, but I've no matter how many different things I've tried to get to fit in my ear, it just doesn't consistently fit in my ear as well as the Shure one does. And everybody memes on Shure and says you're a boomer if you like those IEMs. I get it, whatever, fine. The technology hasn't changed in 20 years, I get it. But I started using them in 2004 with the E3C. I actually saved up my money from shoveling people's walkways and sidewalks to buy that. And every time they break, you can just, they will fix anything no matter how old it is, and if they can't fix it, they'll just find something in storage and give you another one. And the way that they've handled their customer service, which is in 22 years, they have never given me shit. Even when it's something that I like, when you look at it, you can just tell that I broke it. It's something stupid. That really does mean something to me. And also the durability of the product is incredibly high. The only thing I don't like is in recent versions, I think that those filters that go in there to collect earwax and other things, I don't think they're really user replaceable anymore, which is somewhat annoying. But the fact that they will consistently, outside of warranty, years outside of warranty, just give me another one, I don't care that the buds that I spend like $200 or $300 on probably cost them $1 to make. Like, when a company acts like that, I will continue to give them money into the future, just for treating you with respect. And it's sad that the bar is in Hades like that, but it sure has my unconditional endorsement there. They've been treating me right for 8 years before I had a YouTube account. Okay, let me get some real multimeter probes since these suck. Until I fix it. Once it's fixed, it'll be... Is there something that needs immediate attention? Or close, or that should have immediate attention? Okay. Now, I'll just read the values to you, and you'll have to believe me. It'll have to be a trust system. I'm hoping that after being on YouTube for 14 years with no ads, you guys can trust I'm not reading you fake values in the fucking meter. Let's see, what do we have when I touch the probes? There's a 0. What happens at the actual point where the wire is also a 0. Yeah, this is a junker. This battery is dead as a dodo. Is it the PC board? I wonder if we can find this model battery. Look, they have a telephone number. And they have red wire plus, black wire minus. Thank you for that information. If I search for that, I wonder what I find on the internet. Oh, you can't see that because of the light. Turn this down. YU 10539. Interesting. I can find a battery online that's not the same, but that shows up when you put in that number. It's interesting how many things show up that are not even close to this when I look for that number. I'm looking at the wrong number, aren't I? I'm not used to being the person that replaces vape batteries. Okay, which number is the one I have to care about? Is it the 682 number at the top? There's 682134 at the top. Oh, the third thing that I found is a support article from these pieces of shit at Qudelix. Oh, you fuck these people. Wow, this really reminds me why I want nothing to do with these fucks ever again. Screen capture, video capture device, VLC group. Let's see if I. Look at this bullshit. So the top result I found on Google is from the Qudelix forum, which is the device we're fixing. Hi, is battery inside 5K user replaceable? If so, we use spare batteries. Thanks and congrats for an obviously great product. And again, just to destroy any semblance of good reputation, it's about safety issues. As far as we're concerned, no makers officially let the user replace the battery. Please note that the warranty in the 5K is void if the case is open. AKA, fuck you. As far as we're concerned, yeah, as far as you're concerned, you can suck my... It can be fairly easily replaced by electronics repair shop. By yourself, you can solder, so it needs to hold the right battery. Very true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that'll be the next thing to go for. I'll find a battery that fits. That's not a 3.7 volt battery. You will get flames if you put that in there. It does say 3.8 volts, 500 milliamp hours, limited charge voltage 4.35, which leads me to believe that it's a 3.8 nominal that you would likely charge to 4.2 volts, 4.1 if you're feeling less spicy. Most of these batteries have a tiny charge controller built in. If the battery is under a couple of volts, it stops charging. Unless the cell is a BMS, we'll try to charge it to 4.35. I would just do the 4.15 so I'm not being greedy. This is, let me get rid of the browser on the screen so you can actually see better. I was looking at this battery. I'm not sure which number is the one that's actually important here, because this is not something I'm familiar with, but perhaps you are. So I have 682134, that's a number. 1CP72133, that's a number. And then I have YU10539190002, that's a number. Then the date is not really that important. So which number do you think would be the number that is the most important number to get a replacement that would actually fit? 682. Probe directly to battery or power supply. So you want me to take the BMS out of this, don't you? You guys really want my desk to go on fire. Well, let's do it. YOLO. Here's why we can't have right to repair. Okay, open this. Warranty void if open pisses me off so fucking much. Yeah, this is the kind of product where I would feel 100% justified in buying another one and then sending the broken one back in the box and filing a chargeback if they did not allow you to return it. Now, some of you may say, well, that's against the law. Well, warranty void, if opened, is also against the law in the United States. So the way I see it is if you're willing to break the law, I'm not really going to cry a bunch of tears if I see that somebody else has broken the law on you. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it, but I wouldn't really, I'm not going to fucking be sad about it. I'm not going to. It's a tempting thing to do, man. Especially with companies like this. Okay, so we have a BMS board, I'm guessing is inside this thing. Or is it inside? No, here, let me open the microscope again. Okay, so inside the microscope, what do we got? So this is going to be the BMS board, and maybe there's some water under this. Let's just poke through this and get this thing out of here. And take a look at it under the microscope. At the BMS board. And obviously, since we're working with a live lithium battery, be very careful with the metal tweezers and all that. Make sure you know where the exits in the room are. Make sure somebody who eats half of your lunch is there to throw the battery at in case it goes on fire. Let's see. These connections look solid. The weird thing is I also got 0 volts measuring directly at the cell, which again, I just don't believe enough time has passed for that cell to have been completely shorted out. So I'm just going to remeasure because it's hard for me to believe that to be the case. Put one over here. And one over here. I have 0.19 volts. 0.19. Actually, it's in reverse. It's negative 0.19. I would expect that this, because it's next to the red, to be the positive one. When I measure like this, I just get... That's weird. Is there continuity between the wires and the pads? Well, it's going to be difficult to measure continuity through anything where you have power going through it. And I would have to desolder these tabs from the battery to do that, which is... nah. Oh, never mind. Those are wires that are going to be on the other... Oh, wait, I'm being an idiot. It has to go through the BMS first. You dumbass. You have to go through the BMS first. My watch says abnormal heart rate detected. That's the vibrating that you hear. Okay. Black wire has continuity there. Yeah, this cell getting drained that much. So who wants to see what happens when you try to charge a lithium ion cell that's drained to 0.2 volts? We do have, this is a very tiny cell, and I do have fire extinguishers available. This could be fun. Lewis is flatlining. No, that battery is flatlining. The red wire has continuity to nothing. Interesting. Let's do that one more time just to confirm that I'm not losing my mind. I'm going to put it in a more comfortable position to have show onto the camera. So the black wire has continuity to one of those little ICs, but the red wire, let's poke it at an angle so it's easier. Oh, never mind. I just wasn't touching it properly. Okay. This says 331. $332 ohms. You're fine. Nothing here is burned. Most likely the BMS is just saying, fuck you, I'm not going to let you charge the battery. So this tab is attached to you, the red wire, on the top. So which tab are you at? So this is the red. You're the red. You're the red. You're the black. Let's do the voltage measurement one more time. Now you're 0.4 volts. Oh, you're probably, this thing probably just got charged from the amount of time I was touching with the meter. Okay. Oh, wait, no. Are you in you're in millivolts, that's what it is. Something, that's weird. It's 0.2. 0.3. I think I've been charging this just by the amount of times I've been touching it with the damn thing. Okay. So in order to charge it, I kind of have to take it out from being in the microscope or get another power supply. I'm thinking I'm going to get another power supply because I want you to be able to see if this goes on fire in the microscope. I think that could be fun. For you, not for me. Okay, I've grabbed another power supply. At this point, I'm actually using a $150 to $200 power supply as a 5-volt power supply for my fucking camera because I don't have a DC adapter for my camera and I don't know where it is because I haven't used that thing in two and a half years now, almost 3 years maybe. People like this. There we go. There's no going back now. There's no going back now. That's a nice sound. Okay, voltage, 3.8. Current. Let's just test this one more time. Make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Thank you very much, Maria. We have an oil container next to us for safety. Did you bring the sand?
I bought the fire extinguisher as well.
What about the sand?
No, I don't have anything.
Why don't you have any sand?
I can smush up the last cookie and that's as good as I can get.
Okay. This goes here. Three. Oh shit. Oh shit. I didn't turn it on yet. Thank God. Oops. Okay. Those banana clips are definitely not improperly sized for this task. Those are just the right size. It's moving around on the desk just to make sure that I'm paying attention, which is important. Safety first. Okay. 3.8 volts, check. 0.01 amp current limit. 0.01 amp. Does that sound like a good current limit? To not be actually 0.005. I'll do that to keep this from being an electro boom video. And output is on. And it's drawing nothing. Oh, it's drawing a little bit. Wait, no, it's drawing nothing. Turn it up safely. Let's see. And we got zip. Zilcha. Nada. Kaboomy. It's not even charging. No current draw at all. Needs more. Give it a minute. All right. Let's see. 3.8 volts, 0.000 amps. No smoke. Is this the part where the manufacturer bursts in to stop Lewis from repairing things because think of the children? Give it more current. Well, it's not about giving it more current. So the way this works is there's current. When you set a power supply to 3.8 volts and then I limit the current, it's taking nothing. And the reason it's taking nothing is not because of the power supply. It's because the circuit is not actually demanding anything. So you don't set current by choosing the current in the power supply. You set current by setting the resistance in the circuit. The resistance in the circuit is what's going to set that. So I'll give you an example. If I have a stop drain and I pour water in it, like it's not going to drain, right? Like the resistance is going to be setting it. So if you have infinite resistance, then you're not going to have any current flow. If you have low resistances and the pipe is not clogged, then you'll have a lot more current flow. Now here, if I limited the current, the way that I would be able to see that the current limiting is working is because the 3.8 volts that I set it to would not be there. If I set it to 0.001 amps and the voltage it was putting out was 0.079 instead of 3.8, then I would know that the current limiting in the power supply is what was doing that. What you can only do, you could set resistance and you can set voltage in a circuit. You can't actually set current. So I can say how much volt I want to send into a circuit, 10, 20, 30, and the resistance in the circuit is going to set the amount of current that goes through it. But you can't say how much current you want to go through something. That's a meme. You can set the resistance in the circuit, or at the same amount of resistance, you could lower up the voltage to change the current. I think it's time. Come on home. Yo, man, not yet. It ain't done yet. Come on. Give me a minute. Charge a little bit, you piece of shit. I don't think this thing's going to charge. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't think this thing's going to work. So I'm going to find a battery that fits into this, and we're going to follow up this video later on, likely much later on. And when we do follow up this video, we're going to go over exactly what battery to get to fix these. Because if my Qudelix 5K died, I'm sure many of yours did too, and you may not know what battery fits in. And we'll try to finish the tutorial by showing you exactly which battery fits in and exactly how to install it. And we'll do that. That'll be the next one. Until that, yeah, if you were to purchase this item or any item from that company that was equal or exceeding in cost what you paid for this thing, and you were then to take the broken item that you're not allowed to open and not allowed to fix it under any circumstance and put it in the box and send it back to them, not saying you should do it. Not saying I would care either. Yeah. I would not buy another thing from this company. We're going to find a new battery for this. And we will update this video once we have some news. See you in the next one. Bye now.